When you defeat this statue, does it go,
Well, I'm going to talk about eco-terrorism.
Got too excited about jorts.
I am leaving now with my Roomba or your blood on my hands.
I'm back on my bullshit.
What is meme if not air horn persevering?
No, this is not a family show.
And I quote, many American titties.
Why'd you have to bring Dane Cook to this, Andrew? No one wanted that.
Oh, you guys are not ready for what I've got today.
And I've apparently hit the very end of my attention span.
Give me like 30 seconds. I'm looking for rhymes. Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and this one's for me. The more that I play through it, the more I feel like Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is just Final Fantasy's take on Sonic Unleashed.
Okay, I'm going to jump in
guess.
before anybody else says anything.
Yeah.
Wait, so I am intimately familiar with Sonic Unleashed,
Yeah.
but I know nothing about Stranger
I have
of
the
Paradise.
receipts.
So
I have
need
the
you,
receipts.
I need you to walk me through this from just the Sonic angle, please.
Got it.
I need a point of reference here. I'm out in space.
And I need it done in 90 seconds or less.
Thank you, Todd. So, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is the newest Final Fantasy game directed by Kingdom Hearts daddy Tetsuya Nomura. It is weird and very memey. When the trailer came out, it was like a minute and a half of this dude that looks like Eminem yelling about chaos, and everyone Twitter like exploded about Stranger of Paradise. And then more videos surfaced where there was one where like some demon was giving a bunch of backstory, and the main character just halfway through is just like bullshit, and then turns around and puts on 2 earbuds and listens to Linkin Park and walks away.
Oh,
That happens in the game. That is not an exaggeration.
Wait, like actually, they paid for the license for Linkin Park?
No, it's like a new metal thing that sounds.
Okay,
like
okay.
Yeah,
It's generic new metal.
Yeah,
Got
thank
it.
you. It's generic. It's just new metal. So this game is a meme. One, it is very memey. It is probably the most Final Fantasy has gotten into the memey. But when you play it, the whole point of it is like you're traveling around the world trying to like reunite these like disparate worlds that are very like dreamy, weemy, like they don't exist in a place. Kind of like how Sonic Unleashed is like 5 different games in one, you know?
Okay.
Like there's like the snow world that's based on some other game.
So it's the franchise is broken and they're repairing it with with
Yes.
memes.
The
Okay.
whole point is every dungeon is taken from a different core mainline series, like inspired from a mainline series, and they're basically retelling the original Final Fantasy, but like backwards, and nobody remembers anything, and the main character basically makes fun of the story the whole time.
And 90 seconds.
I mean, I'm in.
Giovanni, how did I do?
Pretty good, yeah. I the only thing I would add in my less than 90 seconds is like the whole thing is kind of a postmodern breakdown of what the hell does Final Fantasy as a brand mean anymore? And it's like making fun of Final Fantasy. It's making fun of like what is a Final Fantasy game even? Like this series is so undefinable at this point. And like what does a modern Final Fantasy game look like? Like should it be a Souls game? I don't know. Should it have a bunch of loot? It's just a lot of like design jokes, I think, like that. And it is kind of to me a game about Tetsuya Nomura like reclaiming Final Fantasy and being like, we're gonna go back to the first game and reimagine what this series is in like this new image. And like you can kind of read the entire game as being about like this creator trying to take it back from Square Enix, like a company that just is like so flailing to get things done. That series is in its postmodern phase, folks, and
I'm into that.
I love it. I unironically love it.
it's legitimately very good, and it's very memey, but like once you get to the end of the story, it's very apparent that like it's not just a meme. Like it actually has a lot of purpose, and is like genuinely very smart what it's doing and very high concept. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's also developed by Team Ninjas, and it's a hell of a time to play. Anyway, we'll talk about that later in the post-show. Gentlemen, the weather is getting warmer, love is in the air, and allergies are in our faces. That means it's springtime, and, more importantly, as a mid-30s homeowner based in the Midwest, it's grilling season, baby!
How many meats have you grilled already, Andrew?
Well, it's 30 degrees, so none so far. But,
It snowed this week.
Snowed here today.
It did. I wrote these notes last week. Gentlemen, consider this your formal invitation to the social event of the year, which is, of course, my annual first week of April backyard cookout. Now, this year, I really want to expand outside of my own social circle, so I'm going to ask each of you to do a new thing. I'm going to ask each of you to bring a guest that also happens to be a boss from 2022's smash hit video game, Elden Ring.
Do you guys ever think maybe we've let the concept of this show slip too far out of our hands? Do you guys ever think that?
Are we in our postmodern phase?
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe this is the Final Fantasy origin of debate. This really just
not
kind
impossible.
of reckoning with itself.
Maybe we are a postmodern take on what it is to be white men with a podcast.
See, I was going to say the opposite, Matt, that as Andrew described it, I was like, well, that's the least complex setup we've had in a long time, actually. It doesn't make any more sense, but we're having a barbecue, not a Dark Souls boss, and an Elden Ring boss.
Yeah, why not?
Close enough. Well, so everybody, please, let's raise a natter day and welcome to the front Matt, the deathbed companion Cole, Kyle, the all-knowing Harper.
How I feel after I spout off a Snapple fact from 10 years ago.
And my personal favorite, Todd, the loathsome dung eater Thomas.
One more of those
That's what we
nicknames from
call
college that never got away.
Yep. Now, none of you three know these references, and I know that because I know that none of you three idiots have actually played Elden Ring and likely don't plan on playing it. So
I don't have a console
decided
to play it on.
Me neither.
Okay. Fair. You can play the PC port, I think, but it's really bad. So I decided to bring in a ringer. Please, everybody, welcome our special guest, gaming section lead over at digitaltrends.com and co-host of Left Trigger, Right Trigger, Giovanni, chieftain of the Badlands, Colantonio.
Ooh.
Applause sound effect. Applause sound effect.
I also love that obviously you brought a ringer because he knows all of the Elden Ring things. Also, that's a good pun. I love the thought that you brought a ringer to this barbecue. Like that's you called us three over, and you're like, you won't do good enough.
I've ever heard. I need this barbecue to go well. I'm bringing in.
Calling in a ringer.
That's usually my role when I'm invited to barbecues. It's just kind of like, hey, I need someone with like very specific knowledge on, like this topic I want to be at the, like I really want people to talk about the Oscars, but like I don't think anybody watched it. I need somebody to like really come in and be like, oh, did you know that Wings was the first movie to win an Oscar? And it's like nobody wants to know that, but I need somebody who can do it.
That's a fun factoid.
It's I think it's right.
I believe
you said it very confidently.
Yeah. I kind of did that in hopes that no one would question.
Kyle could read that off a Snapple cap.
G, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? Where can people find you? What are you up to these days?
Yeah, hey everybody. I mean, it was there. I run the gaming section over at digitaltrends.com, which is great. We've been really building that out over the last year, especially, which has been super fun. I was freelancing there for a long time, and now I get to kind of run the show and have a great team of freelancers and writers. So if you like reading about video games, you should check out the stuff we're doing there because it's really good.
It's really good.
It's really good stuff.
Thank you. I was fishing. Yeah, and of course, Left Trigger, Right Trigger. If you want to hear me talk about video games more in a podcast setting, that's a roll of the dice. You're either going to get an episode that's very insightful or a true odyssey. So if you like both of those things and just want a podcast that's a crit fail or a 20, whenever you tune in.
No in between.
No in between. That's kind of the whole show. By all means, check it out. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's been a busy season for gaming. It's been like an unusually busy beginning of the year. February was a nightmare, and March was like, even more of a nightmare. There's been a lot of games. It's been a good couple of months for games.
As a consumer, it's been great, but I can imagine somebody in the industry had not been a great time.
It's not fun to review the video game Elden Ring in 1 week. I'll just put that out there. It's not fun to play 60 hours of any video game in 1 week. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really fun time. I mean, I love working in games. I like talking about them. So when I got the invite to talk about something that actually just matters for once. None of this like, oh, let's like get into the systems of games. No, shut up. Let's talk about some big boys barbecuing. That's the subject everybody wants to hear about.
That's actually what Andrew's invite said last year.
It's so weird, right? Well, before we get silly, I do want to say, in all seriousness, like Giovanni's Elden Ring review is very, very good, and y'all should go read it. Specifically, like, there's a lot of, obviously, like, that game was heavily reviewed. There's still in the press, but I thought it was really cool. Like, you came at it as somebody who like notoriously doesn't like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
As someone who is like a big Dark Souls fanboy, I think that is a really important discussion to have, and I agree. Like, I think this is something that a lot of people can enjoy for the reasons that they don't enjoy Dark Souls.
Yeah, I that was the approach I wanted to take with it because, again, like, I've hated this series. This is the peek behind the curtain. I hate it. Just like I've hated it. I played like 3 hours of Bloodborne and was like, everyone is joking. Like everyone is just playing a prank on me.
It's an elaborate lie.
I played it 4 times. Prank. 4 times.
The thing that I always do with video games is when I'm playing them, I do this rule to tell if I like am going to keep playing a game because I have like limited time. I have to review a bunch of stuff. Where if I stop when I'm playing a video game and the thought comes through my head where I go, I'm gonna die one day, and then I go like, I don't want to spend my small amount of time left on the earth like playing this, like bashing my head against this. Then like that's my mark of like I'm gonna stop playing this game, and it's usually the mark of like I don't think this game is good. And with Bloodborne, it was like 3 hours. I was like, why? With every moment that I'm doing this is taking
when
away
my life
from, like,
flashes before my eyes. Do I want to see Bloodborne there?
Yeah. At the pearly gates, do I want to see me dying to the same boss 20 times in a row? And have God be like, "Wow, this was a good use of your time." But Elden Ring is great. It was the first one that I really like dug into. I think it is a great game for people who like want to get into the Souls games but don't like the idea of them. But yeah, that review was interesting because I kind of tried to take it from the perspective of like, if you love these games, this is how the perception of it's going to be, and if you hate these games, like here are the things that are still a problem with it that like you are not going to like, but like here's why it still works and why you'll like it more than you usually like games. So Elden Ring, great game. It's got a lot of problems, y'all. The camera,
it's not perfect.
Please fix the camera from soft. That's all I came on here.
The camera's bad, and it gets progressively worse the bigger and bigger the baddies get.
I like the idea that at this point it's a decision that FromSoft has made that we're going to keep a bad camera in the game.
Yeah, it's.
They're like nobody complains about it. It's fine. Please.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, boys. So. Let's start this off. I want each of you to introduce the Elden Ring. Oh, right, because we're doing a barbecue. You're going to introduce the Elden Ring boss that you each are bringing along to my backyard barbecue. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about them and then why you've decided to pick them among the game's pantheon of actual demigods. Now, for listeners, the title of boss here is a little nebulous. And if you haven't played this or other Souls games, really this is any big hulking character with a title card. So if they got a title card, they're in. So that's like no merchants, no non-player characters, no side characters, just bosses. Matt, let's start with you. Who you got there?
Well, boy, howdy, Andrew. Let me tell you, I don't know much about Elden Ring, but I do know much about barbecue, and I do love a backyard BBQ, and I have the uncomfortable Chaco's foot tan to prove it. Now, I love a backyard barbecue because it gives me the opportunity to 1, drink in the shade, 2, overeat, 3, assert my physical dominance over mutual acquaintances via humiliation through my skills in assorted lawn sports. Now, Andrew, I wanted to bring a guest along with me who shared these same core values. So, please allow me to introduce my new best friend and yours, Crystallian Ringblade. It's Crystallian Ringblade, everybody. Say hello to Crystallian Ringblade.
Oh, of course. Notoriously bad boss Crystallian Ringblade.
Of the Vermont Ringblades?
The very same. Crystallian Ringblade is effectively your coworker's younger, prettier, charismatic cousin from South Carolina who has taken a few too many passes at your wife. Boy, no. Andrew, if you want to expand your social circle, there is literally no better option than my bro Crystallian Ringblade. What with his dashing looks, irresistible dance moves, and devastating accuracy, he is sure to insert crystal pun here.
Wow.
What a pitch.
Can I just say one thing that's impressive about this? I've played like over 60 hours, probably like 65 hours of this game. I have no idea who you're talking about. I've never heard of this character in my damn life.
These ones are bad. They're a recurring boss. They only appear in the like dungeon, in the little side dungeons.
Oh,
and
sure.
Their whole thing is like they're just big poise monsters. And there's 3 of them. Well, there's 3 different types, and there's one fight where you have to fight all 3 at one time. And the one you have the chakrams one, the one that like throws things at you.
The Ringblade, yes.
Okay.
Cool, man.
Fine. They're really dumb and bad. And the one that has a spear just keeps like jumping at you and like it does one attack the whole time. I hate them. Cool. Great. Thanks, Matt. Kyle, what are you bringing?
Andrew, we all can agree that like what a backyard barbecue really is just a college party for people in their late 20s and early 30s. So what better group to bring to, and I brought a group. I'm sorry, I invited more than one person to your barbecue because more the merrier, right?
We'll see.
We all have those friends that like on their own, they're fine at a party, they hang out, they socialize, but when you get them together, they become the life of the party. They're starting games. They're like trying new creative meats on the grill. They're just, you get them together. They are the greater than the sum of their parts and elevate the party to the next level. Well, that is the Valiant Gargoyle duo. You know, one-on-one, they're a boss. They you know, you got to figure out their patterns. Mm-hmm. But when that second one comes in, whoo boy, does it become a party. It's like one had the Bluetooth speaker and the other had, or one had the speaker and one had the aux cord, and together the party is started. So that's who I brought today, Andrew, the Valiant Gargoyle duo. I think they're old roommates from college together, and that's why like when you get them together, they just have that chemistry.
Love that.
This one's interesting because I've played 65 hours of this game, and I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
I will tell you, one of our Patreons, Thunder Chicken, I watched him stream at least 10 hours fighting this boss.
Oh, wow.
10 hours is aggressive. It was probably more like 3, but he fought these guys for a long time, and it did not go well.
These guys are under one of the underground cities.
Mm-hmm. They're in the Siofria Aqueduct.
Yeah, they're who you fight to get to the Lake of Rot.
Well, and it sucks because you fight the first one, and we were talking about this off recording. Yeah. You start fighting the first one, and you get that one for like 90 seconds, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass. Then the other one in its health bar just shows up
and makes it a party. Yeah, that's what I said. It's a real
fuck you.
Truly evil.
Todd, who are you bringing? I see. What's that over there? That's
hey,
rather big fellow.
It's so good to see you all, Andrew, Matt, Kyle, Giovanni, all your respective nightmare bosses. This is my 3-story tall buddy, General Radon. Or as you may know him, Star Scourge Radon, aka Big R Dog Donnie, as we call him. R Dog. You can just put the coleslaw down by the hot dog buns. Yeah, just over there. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, hey, so this is a man who grew so powerful that he sought to conquer the stars. And also he's gone mad with Scarlet Rot. He's just had like a really rough couple years. So I thought that like
he's just growling. Why is he just growling?
He saw the hot dogs.
He's slapping plates out of people's hands. Todd.
It's fine. Hey, I just thought I could bring him because this guy's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, also, you gotta check this out. Dude knows gravity magic, which is frankly incredible. Also, you're not gonna guess this next sentence, but he's very into animal rights. That nearly decrepit horse over there drinking out of the Natterdays cooler, that is his lifelong pet, Leonard. Old R-Dog actually learned gravity magic specifically so he could still ride Leonard without crushing him because he's 3 stories tall. Just a quick question. When was the last time any of you volunteered time at like an animal shelter? Because like this dude just straight up learned a school of magic to contribute to animal welfare. So I think
one specific animal time.
Yeah, one single animal's
okay,
welfare.
And one animal is the one that makes a difference. I spent a lot of money at the
vet last year for my pet. Does that make me an animal rights activist?
This man also does murder human beings. I just want to make that clear.
Hey, shush, let's chill. We are having a good time here. Let's not say the murder word around Radon. He is just a little sensitive to these things.
He might get bloodthirsty.
Okay, we've all had a couple bad years, haven't we? And like we're just here to blow off some steam. So this is Radon or Donnie, Big R Dog.
I will
money.
not let you get away with bringing an Eldritch boss here today who has the same name as all of my high school friends' uncles from the South Side. I know too many Donnies in my life to believe that that's the type of person this boss is.
Who is that joke for?
You!
In the notes, it is spelled apostrophe DAHNIE. So
It's
very
Donnie.
good.
General Radani Iris. All right, Giovanni.
Yeah,
Donnie Iris. That
love
was,
that pick, by the
my
way.
nickname for the end. Damn it.
love that pick because I do know who he is after playing the game for 65
right?
hours. But I actually didn't fight him. Could not figure out how to when I played it. Just couldn't figure it out. But I have a bone to pick with it. We'll get to it. So here's what I did for this one. I tried to identify, rather than starting with a boss, I wanted to start with like what makes a really good guest at a barbecue. Like what are the qualities that you want in a person at a barbecue? And I think, and this might be reductive, but I've kind of put it down to 3 specific criteria. And I was trying to figure out who matched all 3. The first one I think is easy, which is just like, you know, the person who knows party tricks, right? You always just kind of want that party trick person who's like, oh, you know, like they can break the ice and get things going, and, you know, because they have like some specific skill. That one I will say, though, I think every Elden Ring boss will check this boss because I think they can all do really cool, weird stuff. So everyone here wins that category. You know, they're like, unless you're like, I don't know, the fire troll or something, like whatever.
Soldier of Godric.
Yeah, whatever. Patches.
Oh, I hate Soldier of Godric. The worst,
God,
right?
he was at the last barbecue. It fucking sucked.
And I just want to say real quick, Patches is the worst person that you could bring to a barbecue, and I think we can all agree on that. Because we all know Patches, all of us on this show.
We all unanimously know that reference, yes.
Yep. Anyways, so that one. Number 2, though, really good to have someone who knows how to work a grill, right? You just like want somebody there who like when you are doing the grill, you want somebody who can come in every once in a while and be like, hey, do you want to take a break? Like I can like, you can go to the bathroom and I'll just like watch the burgers, or just someone to like stand with you at the grill so like they can be social with you and you can be like,
and occasionally compliment how well you're grilling. Yeah.
Or be like, or you know, have you be like, oh, do you think this needs a few more minutes, and have it be like, nah, it looks pretty good, I think you'll be good. Like that's a really valuable skill. And the third thing, the most important person to bring to a barbecue is the person who has a pet, specifically the person who has a dog. Because anytime a dog shows up at a barbecue, immediate life of the party, right? It's like everyone is just going to go like, oh, it's such a good icebreaker, right? It's like the dog runs up to you. It's like, oh, what's your dog's name? And you get to like play ball with the dog. So I was trying to figure out something that checked all those bosses. And luckily, there is one specific boss in Elden Ring who not only knows their way around fire, but also is a dog, not just has a dog, but is a dog. And that, my friends, is the Erdtree Burial Watchdog. This is a boss that is early in Elden Ring. It's essentially a giant statue of a dog that hops around and shoots fire at you. And frankly, it checks all the boxes. It can do tricks. I mean, it can hop around. It can shoot fire. Those are party tricks, my friends. It can light a grill. That's important. It knows its way around fire. And 2, you can play fetch with it. This sucker's going to come to the party, and it's going to do dog stuff. And you're going to be like, wow, this is such a delight. Someone brought their dog to
dog stuff.
all the dog stuff. This dog's going to have a ton of fun. It's going to be fun at the party. We love this. We're going to pet this dog. But never mind the fact that he's a large stone statue of a dog, and I'm not sure if he is
And he's a
or not.
nightmare.
It's bipedal, Giovanni. You left all of that out.
But that's good because it bridges the gap between human and dog in the right way, right?
Is that what we want at our barbecue? The bridge gap between human and
I'm not looking for the missing link at this barbecue, Gio.
You want somebody who can do both. You want somebody who can sit and talk to you like a human on 2 legs, but you also want someone who's going to fetch the ball. And that's what the Erdtree Burial Watchdog is going to provide to this barbecue. You can laugh, but it's the perfect specimen.
Bridge the gap between human and dog broke me.
The constant 90 degrees in which its elbow holds that sword is troubling.
Yes. What is a great party trick? It could do so much. Why is everyone acting like this is weird? This guy's cool as hell.
Put this in here just in case anyone wants to watch that nightmare later.
Oh, like all your bosses aren't nightmares.
It's a different nightmare.
He's got a point.
Weird that this is the second time I'm referencing this 2006 movie in this podcast. But if the bridge between man and human and dog is the perfect specimen, By definition, so is Tim Allen in 2006 movie The Shaggy Dog.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not doing this.
No, I think that's actually probably right.
Oh
in
my
some
god.
ways.
Wow.
Except I
All
don't
right.
want Tim Allen at my barbecue.
Me
I don't
neither.
think that's a good idea.
When you defeat this statue, does it go?
yeah,
It does
that's his
actually.
death cry, yeah.
All right, we're moving on. Gentlemen, the Lands Between, which is the world of Elden Ring, the Lands Between is a vast, sprawling landscape rich with diverse cultures and various types of races and religions, and also the
Which
missing link,
might be Ohio.
which also might be Ohio. So you have to imagine there must be some more options for fair weather activities out there. And you guys know I've been using these same sun-bleached cornhole sets for years now, and frankly, I'm just sick of the same old barbecue activities. So let's go around again. Tell me a fun outdoor game that your chosen guest can bring to the party to help spice things up a bit. We'll start back at the top with you, Matt.
Well, Andrew, if you couldn't tell from his college lacrosse penny or his boat shoes, maybe you've noticed the frisbees this guy carries literally everywhere with him. Andrew, crystalline ring blade absolutely crushes at disc sports. Now, lucky for you, Andrew,
This is a little bit of a self-insert, isn't it?
A little bit.
my boy CRB never leaves his home without wedging a can jam set in the back of his Ford Fiesta. If you're unfamiliar
Self-insert.
with the jam of cans, let me assure you it is truly the most accessible of the disc sports, and you can totally play it while you're drinking. It's basically frisbee cornhole. Stand beside bucket and opponent, across from partner bucket and opponent. Throw frisbee into bucket as your partner tries to slam dunk your frisbee into the bucket. Now, every once in a while, a frisbee may fly a little awry, but have no fear, for an elder being made entirely of crystal. CRB is exceptionally agile, like weirdly agile, and if you're familiar with his brothers, the other two Crystallians, the Crystals and the Maybachs. Anyway, if you're familiar with the other two Crystallians, not very agile. However, CRB, exceptionally agile. I mean, you should see this guy do a spinning leap across the entire Altus tunnel. It's really impressive stuff.
Do you know what those words mean?
Nope.
I hate this because Crystallian is definitely the given birth name of some white kid who's the captain of his frisbee ultimate team.
Oh yeah.
Who definitely goes by CRB.
Yeah.
I need to point out how long I've been removed from the Midwest, because Matt just put can jam in the show notes, and I thought he meant that Crystallian ring blade was going to break out a guitar at the barbecue.
That's what I thought.
As though he can jam.
Yes, he can jam.
That's 100% how I read it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Crystallian ring
Oh,
blade
good.
can jam.
It's a statement of fact, Kyle.
That's what I thought he was doing.
Oh, that's
too.
awesome.
Oh,
man.
Elden Ring in the jams, Kyle.
Matt, I love this, and you know I love can jam. I'm a big fan. It's not that far off from cornhole, but it feels like an easy transition. I noticed that the frisbees though are rather sharp and
Crystallian.
crystalline. How do you answer that? Like, I feel like whacking a crystalline discus might be a little bit of a challenge.
Well, so I don't think that we're using the chakram ring blades to play can jam.
Okay, well,
I think that Crystallian ring blade
context
is...
clues would have assumed that we were, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, no, I said he had a can jam set in his Ford Fiesta. Can jam sets include a branded frisbee, Andrew. Come on.
All right, that's on me.
I think that Crystallian ring blades expansive experience with chakrams would translate and make him really good at can jam, even if not the Crystallian chakrams he be throwing.
Thoughts?
Seems like a cop-out, but...
I already expressed my thoughts. I thought these guys were going to be playing Wonderwall, and
yeah, I'm kind of stuck on that too. Like, can he jam? Can you answer that part? I do want to know if you think that he can jam.
I don't know any reason why he couldn't jam.
tambourine, maybe.
Yeah,
that's like the ring shape.
We have no data points that suggest otherwise.
I bet he played cymbals in the high school marching band.
All right, no.
Only plays round things.
Yeah, banjo. He could play banjo. Banjo's a disc.
Kind of.
All right, what are Kyle? What are the brothers Gargoyle bringing to the fray
the brothers Gargoyle do excel at most backyard sports games, whatever we call these, because they're meant to be played in pairs. So they are great at cornhole, at whatever you call the game that is throwing two balls tied to string at a ladder.
Yeah,
whatever you call that. They are good at Can Jam, but where they really excel, Andrew, is like a more competitive, like more athletic type game, like badminton. One of them always has a badminton set in their trunk, and they're just crush at doubles backyard badminton. And honestly, Andrew, they're really good if you've got a sandy pit with a volleyball net in it. Beach volleyball is their jam. So that's one of the two. If we're in a grassy backyard, it's badminton. But if we're at a park that's got a volleyball like sand pit in it, beach volleyball all night. They will just run the court until they eventually like throw a game so someone else can come in so they can help out on the grill and make some sliders.
Here's my question with this. I love this. I think it's excellent reasoning. The only thing that I worry about in this scenario is like, are they those guys who just show up and like just win at every game because they just play all the time, and it's like they don't give anyone a chance. Like that guy can be a pain.
That can be a bit of a bummer.
Yeah. They can win at every game. They like have that ability, but they're really good at recognizing when it's time to like take the L and go on like a beer break.
Having watched these monsters fight in action, I don't believe they actually do take the message of the L and walking away ever. Other point I was going to say, the Brothers Gargoyle sounds again like a name of notorious two collegiate ultimate frisbee players that everyone's worried about in the tri-state area.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Upstate, they've got the Brothers Gargoyle.
Do we just keep mistakenly making affluent white boys? Is that what's happening right now?
A new kind of affluent white boy, yeah.
I made a dog, so I don't know.
That's true.
Which is only a step removed from affluent white boys.
It's affluent white boy adjacent for sure.
I brought a general that couldn't handle his problems and instead killed everyone. So
all right, well, your general has murdered half my party. He's kind of a downer. How's he going to lift spirits up, Todd?
Okay, so listen. If we get a few drinks in Radon, he's going to really want to set up a game of polo. So unless you all also brought faithful steeds that you can ride upon, that one is probably out. Okay, so if you didn't notice, the Scarlet Rot actually took both of his feet. Don't look. He's pretty sensitive about it. Just don't look at it.
Todd, I look.
Don't look. Anyway, there's a good chance. So he doesn't have feet. So the gravity magic, he floats from the ankle up. But anyway, there's a good chance he's going to try to pull all the cushions off of your patio furniture, Andrew. And he's going to want to set up a big game of the floor is lava. Here's the thing. He can hover. So you can guess how that'll go. The best that we as also barbecue goers could ask for and hope for is that we're going to settle on a game of lawn darts. His strategy is certainly more spray and pray than dedicated accuracy. So let's just be cool. Let's just keep the number of Trulies he has had down to a minimum of or a maximum of 3 dozen. Because if not, he's going to start recklessly popping off gravity arrows at your neighbor's shrubs. And that's probably not going to go well for you or the HOA.
Todd, important question. What's Radani's Truly of choice? What's his poison?
He likes the grapefruit one. It's just got that. It's just got a little bit to it.
A little bit of kick to it. Yeah.
It's got a little bit.
This is a good time to bring up my one gripe with Radon, who I think
only one. He's got so many things to be mad about.
No, just the one, which is that I think Radon is actually a pretty good guest for the daytime part of a barbecue, right?
Radon, they cool. Like you. Hey man, it's good. Hey,
well, hold on.
But I just want to say
you set up the target. It's fine. Keep going. He's gone.
If the barbecue goes into night, right? And people are like hanging out and like playing games or whatever. There is just one fatal flaw with Radon, which is that he destroys the stars, right? He's the Star Scourge.
He's held them captive.
Yeah, which sucks for people who are out in the backyard during a barbecue when you want to look at the stars.
You know how we all go through those times where you're just like not your best, and sometimes you just need to like meet new friends and like get out, and like that kind of breaks you out of your shell and like gets rid of some bad habits. And so what I'm hoping is that this socialization at this barbecue can perhaps have him not imprison all the stars in the sky.
Instead of going to therapy, he plays lawn darts.
Yeah. Men will literally imprison the stars above us
instead of going to therapy.
Yeah,
that's true.
Good. All right, G. How about our link between man and dog?
I read what you put in the notes, and I'm really excited for this.
Well, okay, let me work to it. Let me start by saying this. I think this is unfair because like a lot of y'all picked a bunch of bosses with like a lot of great mobility to them. Like my boy, my sweet and beautiful boy, who everybody loves because he's a dog and man and statue. He doesn't have a ton of mobility because he kind of hops around because he is a statue of a dog, and so it limits kind of what he can do. And so like if I'm thinking of games, like he's good, he can hopscotch, right? Because he can hop around, and that's kind of it. But that's kind of a lame thing.
Kids love hopscotch. It'll be real popular with the kids. Yeah,
this guy would kill at a kid's birthday party. I just want to make it clear. And I think he would literally do it. But here's kind of what I think is more valuable, which is that like, as we said, he's a dog. It's a dog. Therefore, you can play any game with this sucker. You can play fetch with this good boy, right? You're in the backyard. You're all hanging out. Let's be real. Nobody wants to sit and play party game. Nobody wants to play badminton and stuff at a barbecue. You want to chill with your friends and talk and eat a burger and hold a burger in your hand and like talk about the Oscars, which are still relevant at the time of recording.
We probably got a week of relevancy out of the Oscars with what happened.
I honestly don't even think so.
Twitter's going to be yelling about something else tomorrow, guaranteed.
Yeah, they'll be mad about me saying a link between man and dog. But like you kind of want something that's like not super hands-on to a certain extent, that's like good for socializing. And I think fetch with a dog that's at the party is kind of the ideal party game, quote unquote, because it's just kind of like, oh, the dog just runs up to you with a ball, you pick it up, you got a burger in one hand, you throw it, comes back, your friend's like, oh, I'll get it this time, and you throw it, and then you just watch the sucker go back and forth. It does the game for you, and you get to watch, right? And it's like, cool, but you don't actually have to do physical activity. You just get to like sit in your chair and like drink a beer or whatever, and this sucker just comes bounding over happily because you've thrown a tennis ball. And I think that's what the Erd Tree Watchdog, half man, half dog, and also statue really brings to the table, is that like you get all of the joy and like games and fun that come with a dog at a party, where it's like, you get to watch him do tricks, and you get to watch him like roll over, and you get to watch him light the neighbor's house on fire. Like he does all of the things that you want at a barbecue.
all of the delightful things that a dog would do.
All of the things that a normal dog does. It like he's perfect.
The best type of game is one you don't have to play. You just throw the ball.
Nobody wants to play a game. Look, y'all, no one wants to play your games at the barbecue. Maybe cornhole, but cornhole, again, it's another thing where it's like, it works because it's like very social. There's a lot of downtime.
Radon made it very clear he really wants to play a game, guys, and I can't tell him no at this point.
Fetch isn't going to cut it.
Maybe it will.
Suddenly the animal rights activist doesn't want to play fetch with a dog. That's funny.
I won't say those words to Radon.
For our listeners, in case for anybody who doesn't know this Erd Tree Burial Watchdog character, it doesn't move like a dog. I think everybody, we all need to be on the same playing field. This thing does not move. It has two legs, and it walks in a very uncanny statue-like gait.
Yeah.
So like, I can't get out of my brain like this 8 feet tall dog statue like
playing fetch.
Bing.
Yeah.
It's dog in only the loosest terms.
Yeah, it is technically dog in name. When you look at its face, I think it's dog.
It's three faces, you mean?
It's what?
It's three faces, you mean?
Yeah, it's got a lot going on. But I do think that he's a good boy, and the fact that we're just pretending that this is not a good boy, just because we can't start making rules about like, oh, this dog's good and this dog's not good. They either are all good boys or they're not good boys. You know what I mean?
That's fair and accurate.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff going on in the Google Doc. I just scrolled down.
Yes,
well, I put the video to the Erdtree Burial Watchdog fight, and watching that thing move is troubling.
Yeah.
Upsetting, even.
It's hard to fight too. It's hard to dodge because it doesn't have like a wind up. It just like it's like one frame, the sword is up, and then it just like boink. Like it's like a guillotine.
I think this is fair, but I also want to point out that he doesn't hold the stars captive, which I think is like
that's important.
It's a valid criticism.
Any guest at this barbecue may or may not have done that, and I
think it's just one
to bring up to put that on one person feels a little personal. So
his name is the Star Scourge.
Okay, he went through a troubling time in his life.
That's
we all have, Todd. But I've never scourged the stars.
Yeah, I went to therapy.
Not yet, you haven't.
Guys, I have bad news. Men will literally drink instead of going to therapy, and that's exactly what happened. All our Elden Ring guests are all hopped up on Truly's and Trader Joe's wine, and dang, now they're fighting each other all to the death.
Oh boy.
Oh, beans.
Well, as these things tend to go, you just got to roll with the punches, literally or metaphorically. So far be it for me to cut ourselves short of a good time. Why don't you guys tell me how each of your chosen guests are going to pummel the absolute runes out of each other? That was an Elden Ring reference for nobody except for me.
Are runes a thing that actually get pummeled out of?
They're your Sonic rings.
Your Sonic rings.
Oh, okay.
Matt, starting with you.
Yeah, Andrew. So crystalline ring blade, 1 bit. It's rings. That's all. That's the whole bit with crystalline ring blade. He's got 1 bit, but he does have 2 discs that he carries around everywhere. Now they may fly
for can jam. Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, those are back in the Ford Fiesta. We're talking about the chakrams now. He actually. Listen, in my headcanon, Crystalline Ring Blade is really into disc sports, and so like he's got the Can Jam set. He's also got like 120 disc golf discs in the back seat, and then he also has the chakrams. Like his personality is just disc.
It's all disc.
Anyway, so
he's like a Mega Man boss.
Those discs that he carries everywhere may fly like clay pigeons in Game C of Duck Hunt, but I promise you, CRB is accurate as all get out. He can knock a drink out of your hands from across the lawn easy with the flimsiest of frisbees. But one of his crystal chakrams in his hand, and you might as well call this backyard barbecue 1964's Goldfinger, because we have gone full-blown odd job. Yeah, we got there.
Mm-hmm. We did.
Do you feel good? Do you feel good about that?
Not really, honestly. I kind of wrote this whole thing about the second question. I didn't get this far, so.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
The transparency's good, though.
I love the honesty.
I like it. That is a good way to fight. The only thing I worry about is he kind of sounds like a big coward. He's only doing it from a distance, and trying to play it off like
sounds like as soon as as the fight goes south, he's gonna hop back in that Ford Fiesta and drive off.
I'm sorry, what about this guy's whole personality didn't paint him as a coward this whole time? I'm not trying to argue the truth.
You bringing cowards to the cookout, Matt?
Well, and in my mind, Giovanni said this while standing behind his bipedal dog monster, pointing at Matt. This guy's a coward, is what that guy is.
Kyle, I will combat you and say cowards don't steal the stars, and that's a much bigger thing for us to deal with.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. All right, well, Matt's CRB is here for a long time, not a good time. Kyle, what about you?
So these guys got one thing as well, and it's that there's 2 of them. So they're gonna be jumping around your backyard and smacking people with probably badminton rackets, ice climbers style. They're gonna block one person off at a time and just whap them back and forth until they fall over, and then jump around till they find someone else to play with. So yeah, I hope you can fight 2 people at once, Andrew, or you're going to be losing this backyard brawl.
Do you know that they also have poison mist, which is like their whole thing?
Oh, I didn't. Good. They're going to also...
Do you want to take that again with the poison mist?
That one's a surprise.
I'll just throw it on there. They're going to be... They just tested positive for COVID, and they're going to be coughing on everybody.
There it is.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
You thought that the warm coleslaw I brought was the worst thing I could bring to a barbecue.
Honestly, I'll take actually capturing the stars over a plague. So, Todd.
Yeah, so I told you we needed to limit the number of Trulies this sad large man got, and no one heeded my warning. So bad news, it's all stomps and tramples and blasts and endless arrows with the power of gravity with this guy. He's got his scarlet rot ravaged brain, and it's just gonna get the best of him.
Wait, so he is also contagious? So
I don't. I think
2/4 of you, 1/2 of you are bringing actual plague and disease to my fucking barbecue, you monsters.
you'll have to check the footnotes. Does he actually spread scarlet rot, or does he just have it?
Andrew,
has
I'm real
say
sorry.
he
They
has
told me they were vaccinated, and clean. I was lied to.
Let me just real quick just push up my glasses here. So the scarlet rot comes from Melania, who is of the twins Melania and Michaela. Melania was born to contain the scarlet rot as her curse upon birth as an Empyrean, and she spread the scarlet rot when she allowed her scarlet rot to bloom as a last-ditch effort when she was fighting Star Scourge Radon in the Shattering.
Starscream Radon, yeah.
Starscream Radon.
Yeah. So he
anyway,
he,
tune into our Elden
yeah.
Ring flavor text in 6 months. You're the rest of that story.
Yeah, so he himself, he's not spreading it, he's just got it. He's and it's eating his feet. Much like the diabetes has gotten him. If I know one thing about our dog Donnie, he's gonna get absolutely ripped. He's gonna fly out into the mesosphere on his horse, and he's just gonna dive bomb the shit out of everyone. It's gonna be very dramatic, and it's a huge bummer, honestly, but it is kind of rad as hell to watch if you're not the one being bombed by
As long
him.
as you are not in the impact crater.
Yeah. If you are not in the crater of fire that will result from this building-sized man careening towards your small backyard, then it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of just going to be a bummer for everyone. He's, like I said, he's just working through some stuff, and we should all just give him a little bit of grace.
Okay. Feel like that's a lot of emotional burden for my guests to take on, but that's fine. Giovanni, what that Dogman do?
Yeah, I just want to say really, really high concept ideas here in terms of how these things are going to fight. I mean, I tried to keep a level of realism with my pick, as I think it has been clear throughout this episode, right? Just kind of like a normal dog, half man, but dog.
Wait. What about what you brought is normal dog?
He play fetch.
All right.
And is dog.
Okay.
And has tail to wag.
He attack, but he also protect.
He attack and he protect.
If not dog, why have tail?
Yeah, true. It's not like he levitates over horse. Come on. So
I was very forthright with my guest powers upon arrival.
Well, I want it to be forthright too, because here's the thing. I think that he would not be very good at fighting, but I think that is realistic to a barbecue. Because when I think of a barbecue, and when I think of the kind of person that's going to get into a fight at a barbecue, right? It's like my drunk uncle, right? It's like my 55-year-old uncle who's had a few too many and like is trying to size somebody up, but he can't really move that well because his back's kind of bad, and like he's just like his joints are stiff.
Yeah.
And so like his way of fighting is like he's gonna kind of like sit on you, just take a like big sit on you, right? He'll like try to fight, but like really he's just gonna kind of topple over onto you. And I mean like that's what this dog does when you fight it in Elden Ring. It like its motion is very limited, right? It can't lift its arm, past,
Just kind of like
past a certain point. It's like it's trying to kind of like flatten you and sit on you. It's very ugly, but I mean, like I think that is true to a barbecue, right? If a brawl breaks out, number one, like, y'all are talking about like destroying the world when these suckers go to war. Like, I don't want that at my barbecue. I want someone who's going to be kind of funny to watch him fight somebody, right? I just want to see like, oh, Uncle John is sitting on my friend, and I think that is what this dog kind of brings to the table, and that's kind of the man part of the dog speaking, right? Like that's more of a human man way of fighting. So, I mean, that's my answer. Like, the answer is he fights badly, but I think that is what you want from a party because it's going to be easier to eject him. And, like, also, you're not going to be as liable for, like, oh, he killed all of my neighbors because he did a big swing of his sword. So
he tumbled the stars from the sky. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
that could have been any of our guests. I want to make that clear. It could have been any of our guests.
Yeah, I just want to make clear that it couldn't have been, just for the record. It is only the one guest who does imprison the stars.
Stars, yes.
Yeah, that's the only one. Anyways, that's my thing. Again, I think I've brought a level of realism to this conversation, and I think that's important.
Very realistic. Cool. Well, let's move now into the super secret bonus question. All right, so obviously none of your guests are in the right state of mind to drive. They're all
one is
way
a dog.
too goddamn drunk, and also one of them is a dogman. So
you can half drive.
Perfect. You can half drive. So each of you will just say you've decided to let them crash the night with you. Sorry, Todd. Tell me. Actually, sorry, all of you. What is the drunk food that your guest picks up on the way home? Or are they the kind of, make something at 2 a.m. at home kind of person? The answers we will return after these messages.
From the nerds at Debate This comes a new streaming experience.
Last year, we launched The Plus is Loose, a podcast where we dove into plot details, Easter eggs, and wild speculation into 2021's breadth of new MCU content.
And we're still gonna do that. We're just changing some things.
Coming to Twitch this March, a show that asks the real questions.
Kyle, why are you talking like that? Yes, anyway, starting with the release of Moon Knight on March 30th, we will be streaming our MCU post show at twitch.tv/debatethiscast. Episodes will still be posted on the same podcast feed a day later.
So just like when Mephisto...
What? No, we're not going to talk about Mephisto anymore.
Yeah, unless he actually shows up.
Bringing you the best recaps of the MCU, and only the MCU.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Yeah, we talked about this, bud. We're going to cover other stuff, too.
Yeah, all kinds of comic book TV shows and movies, just like that Jared Leto movie Morbius that's definitely coming out.
Yeah, and we're also going to have special guests to tell us what they thought of the thing we watched.
Guys, I'm sorry. I screwed this whole thing up. I'll just go.
No, Kyle, no, it's okay. We still need someone to reveal the new name.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
Yeah? You mean it?
Yeah, go on ahead.
Coming this March to Twitch. Look out for Avenge This, a comic book movie and television discussion show where we watch all of the MCU stuff and also some of the DC stuff that we want to watch. You can watch Avenge This live at twitch.tv/debatethiscast or download episodes through the Avenge This podcast feed wherever you download podcasts.
Hey,
there
way
you
to
go.
go.
Good.
Super duper.
And we're back. All right, once again, our super secret bonus question is, your chosen guest is too drunk to drive home, so you've decided to let them crash the night with you at your place. What's the drunk food your guest picks up on the way home, or what's the food that they make when you get there? Matt, let's start with you.
Yeah, Andrew, Crystallian Ringblade, as an elder being, has actually eaten the same food for a really long time, and no matter how intoxicated they get, they always crave the same thing. Now, like I said earlier, this guy's got one personality, it's disc. His entire trait is disc.
He's not one of those people that subscribe to like 3 years of a liquid food meal replacement all at once, so that's all he drinks.
No, not a bad guess, but he's all about disc. And because he's all about disc, he's actually been worshiping at a temple for millennia that provides him with disc-based foods. You might call it a worldwide domicile of round edible things. I call it the International House of Pancake. Andrew, we're stopping at IHOP. We're going to get some disc-based food, and we're going to drunk eat some IHOP.
Oh my God, that was such a long walk to a short pier.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out where he was
Where
going.
was he going?
Wow.
He
Incredible.
was bobbing and weaving the whole time.
Yeah, there are so many circular foods out there. IHOP's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Thanks.
Kyle.
Yeah, so the Valiant Gargoyles on their own would probably be the type to just say like, yeah, let's get like sliders or pick up a slice of pizza, something real basic. But together, these guys are going to say, no, take us home. We'll make you something great out of whatever you have in the kitchen. Because the Valiant Gargoyle duo really are the type that are just going to like pull everything out of your fridge, your cupboards, wherever you keep food, and just like make some amazing, kind of disgusting, but ultimately like what you want at 2 a.m. meal out of just whatever you got in your kitchen. You got 3 packs of ramen from 2 years ago and some eggs. They're going to make you the best like instant ramen you've ever tasted in your life. You've got a half a loaf of bread and some peanut butter. They're going to make you like a peanut butter and Nutella sandwich, and it's going to just hit the spot at 2 a.m. So that's what they're going to do, Andrew. They're going to take me home and raid the kitchen and make some crazy meal that uses half the ingredients there.
Okay. Now, important question in the distinction. Do they think it's the best thing, or do you think it's the best thing? Because that's a very different situation.
Outside of being drunk at 2 a.m. after a barbecue, no, it is not the best thing.
Okay.
But it is weirdly the best thing to have after an all-day barbecue.
Right now.
Yeah.
Fair. Todd.
Yeah, so last night, you wouldn't believe it, I put Radon and Leonard on the pull-out sectional. They managed to fit there, and so I went ahead and I fell asleep upstairs, but shortly thereafter I was awoken by the smoke alarm at 3 a.m.
Because they put a pizza in your oven.
Well, no, it's different. And I walked downstairs and I actually found Radon cooking just the biggest pot of the blue box mac and cheese. But he was making the SpongeBob shapes and the Scooby-Doo shapes. Instead of eating these like shaped mac and cheese, he was just staring at the lifeless cheese-shaped body outlines.
Oh God!
As they reminded him of all of his fallen soldiers. Each outline of SpongeBob, Patrick, Shaggy, Fred turn into another life lost under his leadership, families that were broken, stories without ends.
Okay.
Radon was just hovering over a burnt pot, just rocking back and forth, staring straight ahead as the smoke alarm blared.
Sure.
So of course I put a blanket on him and Leonard and gave him each a Powerade and put them back to bed. And I turned off the oven and unhooked the smoke alarm and turned off the light and also went back to bed. But they tried to make blue box mac and cheese. It just,
PTSD is what came out.
Yep. Can't scourge the stars without breaking some eggs,
Oh God. Giovanni.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really easy one for me because, again, we are dealing with a dog, which means that, like, not super high maintenance, right?
I want to be clear, though. We're not actually dealing
It's
with a
very
dog.
important that we understand the dog.
It's not a dog. It's a
Defiantly
statue.
not a dog.
It's the closest thing to a dog, but
Yeah.
not.
Look, in the world of we're bringing Elden Ring bosses to barbecues, like, this is a dog. All right, let's just agree.
Fair.
We can all agree it's just a dog, baby. It's a statue of a dog. It's a half man, half dog. Who cares? It's
It looks
a dog.
like
Woof,
a dog.
woof.
It sounds like a dog, but it's not a dog.
If it shoots fire like a dog, then it's a dog. So what I think is really good about the fact that he is unequivocally a dog, and we can all agree on that, is that, like, what's ultimately going to happen is, like, you're not going to need to take him anywhere to get a snack or anything, because what's going to happen is he's going to get real drunk, he's going to drink a few too many, he got into a fight earlier in the night, he kind of, like, he wobbled back home, or I guess he hopped back home because he has very limited mobility. And that sucker at like 3 a.m. while you were asleep, he threw up on the carpet. And you know what he did? He just ate it up. That was his snack for the night. He ate it right up, and then you had no idea it was gone by the time you got to morning. And that sucker had a full meal. And I think that's what the Erdtree watchdog would eat, because he is a dog, and he does not really. Like it's all puke to him, right?
This dog is a self-sufficient Ouroboros of a statue.
absolutely. Like maybe it is like, you come in the morning and maybe like he pooped a little bit on the ground and he'll be like, you want some of this? And you'll be like, no, thank you. And he'll be like, all right, I'll take it. Yeah.
You gonna finish that?
Yeah. And I think that's really important, because he's not gonna have to buy anything, and he's gonna clean up after himself really well, because it's all food to this good boy.
That's a nightmare. I can't stop thinking about this stupid thing like hinging at the hips and like, then immediately erect again.
The animation of when it shoots fire is how I picture it throwing up, where it kind of goes like, and then I think that's what it would do. Just
that came across perfect in the audio.
Yep.
Great. It projectile vomit, and then he takes it all up, and then he falls asleep in it. It's great.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, each of these is a nightmare, as I expected, and honestly, well done. Cool. So my barbecue was a nightmare. Thank you, all 4 of you.
You're welcome.
I'm not inviting 3 of the 4 of these guests back next year. Why don't each of you go around and tell me why yours deserves to be invited back?
Andrew, let's take a second and look at who your other options are. You see, Todd, he brought somebody who literally steals stars. I mean, that's not... No matter how much animal activism you hide behind, PETA's still bad. So is somebody who steals stars. And I know that Giovanni keeps telling you he brought a dog, but Andrew, I'd like to tell you, that's gaslighting. That's not a dog. I've seen dogs before, and that's not a dog. And Kyle violated the number 1 sin of getting invited to a barbecue, and that is that you gave him a +1 and he showed up +2, and you just can't be doing that. So
+2,
clearly,
both dudes.
Your only option left is the legendary frat dad coward, Crystallian Ringblade.
Frat dad coward. That would be a really good Dark Souls boss title. Kyle.
Andrew, you should invite these guys back because they're your best buds now. Like, that's how I can't explain it. These guys just, when you get them in the same party together, they win over everyone there. And you're best friends with the Valiant Gargoyle duo now. I'm sorry, that's how it is. You don't know how it happened either, but you know one thing, you're calling them to your next barbecue because it was a blast to have them.
Okay. All right. Todd, what you got?
All right, listen, Radon isn't a good barbecue guest.
No, he's not.
I want to make it clear. He and I and Leonard are all a little embarrassed about how yesterday went, but he's just slow to warm up to people. Like, just the first time, you got to let him grow on you a little bit. And here's the pitch. I promise he'll be much better at your Memorial Day barbecue in a couple weeks. He already said he's coming back. He's looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
G?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty simple one to wrap up with, which is woof woof cowards, big boy coming through. It's the big shaggy boy here to get a pet. Throw the little boy a ball. He's having a good time at the barbecue. Give him a little pet. Let him slobber a little bit on your face. It's the little good dog boy and also half man who's here at the barbecue, and everyone's delighted about it. No one's never upset to see a dog, any dog, no matter what they look like, no matter how much of human they are, as well as dog. It's doggone good time with the burial watchdog.
No notes.
Well, one note. It's still not a dog. Still not an actual dog.
Tomato. I don't know.
So here's the deal, y'all. I have to go fix my fence and my backyard and get a new house because of the meteor that came and struck and blew up my entire property. So I got to go deal with that. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Why don't, in the meantime, each of you go around and share some good vibes because we had a good time today.
Yeah, I'll kick off. Kyle, very good bringing a pair of gargoyles to this party. Really enjoyed that. Loved the ice climbers style fighting technique. Very interesting. Also, I really enjoyed you acknowledging that we don't really have a good name for throwing two golf balls tied together with string at a post. We haven't really culturally decided on a name for that yet.
It's
and I think
called
that's
like ladder ball or something.
Something like that.
Officially,
is it ladder golf?
Ladder golf, but it's one of those games that's got like 8 names depending on what part of the country.
Yeah, that's hillbilly horseshoes
mildly
where I grew
racist.
up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So that was fun. Todd, hey man, not a lot of good vibes this week. You brought a Star Scourge to a barbecue, but
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
I will say the floor is lava, but he levitates bit was really good. I liked that a lot. That was very funny. And Giovanni, thanks for joining us. Thanks for gaslighting us into believing that this is a dog. This is not a dog. But
It's a dog.
I appreciate your commitment to the bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree that he's a dog. I just want to say, Matt, what I really like about your argument is that it was very easy to visualize the archetype of person that you're bringing here, like centering this person as like a can jam person, not someone who can jam, but a can jam person.
Can jam guy, yeah.
Very clear
distinction.
and consistent character throughout, and I think the way that you worked discs into this person's personality, just a lot of consistency in a way that I think is really, really great. Kyle, the idea of like, again, same thing. The idea of an archetype of like bringing the like the two people to a party who are better together is like such a real thing, and I think these gargoyles are such a lovely. It was a very endearing. I think the most endearing choice of the of the crew here.
Yeah.
And then Todd, I just like the fact that you just like were really eager to rehabilitate Radon. Like I think it was very sweet. Because I think in our heart of hearts we know that he is like top 5 worst guests that you could bring to a barbecue. Like
It'll be different next time. I can make him better.
Yeah, you can. I
can fix him.
I can fix him.
But I do love that you really went for it with the hardest one. I mean, that's in the spirit of Elden Ring, right? You went hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah, I really appreciate how you all tried to like improve this backyard barbecue with the friend you brought. Matt, you brought the backyard games guy. Like you brought the can jam with the cornhole. Like you brought that guy who's just gonna like, no matter what part of the night we're in, he's gonna be there slinging beanbags at a plank of wood because like that's what he does, I guess. And Gio, you brought a dog. Like you brought a dog to it might be the problematic dog that like you just got out of shelter and you don't know how socialized it is yet, but like you brought a dog to the party, and that's always a pretty solid call.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that he's a dog. I agree.
And Todd, you tried to help your buddy out who was going through a hard time. It ruined the barbecue, but like
it did not improve any part of the barbecue. I do want to make that clear.
But like you were trying to be a good friend, and I appreciate that's what you were aiming for, even if it did, and I can't reiterate this enough, ruin the barbecue.
Yeah, don't want to repeat too much of it's already been said. I'll say, Matt, I think your guest probably also brought a hacky sack.
Definitely.
And it was cool. It was cool what they did with the hacky sack, and I liked watching it. Kyle, it's so good that I've only seen like 3 or 4 Elden Ring fights in real time streamed, and yours is one of them, and they're such a bummer. They're such a terrible bummer. And the fact that like at the end of this, I'm like, well, they might seem fine. Like they just want to like hang out together. Like you know what? I bet what it is the one was getting beat up by the Elden Ring character, and the other one just defended them. And I'm sure they're fine. They're just pals doing pal shit. Giovanni, what you brought isn't a dog, but I do
Debatable.
like the nightmare fuel that you have brought us, because it could be fiercely loyal, and maybe that's something.
Yeah, I think that's a fair critique that like he is a dog. I think is a really interesting thing to point out that I think we can all agree with for sure.
Yeah, I definitely, when I look at this, the more I look at it, the less dog features I see, but maybe the more dog features I see. So I don't know.
Not a dog, but it's also not a dog.
It definitely isn't not a dog.
I think we can agree that it's maybe a dog. Can we agree on that?
You know what? I think that's what I meant to say.
Dog.
That was probably it.
I think we could say legally it has dog in its name.
Like the bounty hunter?
Yeah, what is Dog the Bounty Hunter if not nature's human's dog?
The perfect bridge between
great.
man and dog. Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It goes
Yeah.
dog.
Oh, good.
The guardian dog of whatever this is called.
Yeah,
The-
it's a dog.
Burial
Uh,
watch.
the
dog.
burial.
Yeah.
It goes
Erd
dog, Erd Tree Burial Watchdog, Dog the Bounty Hunter, actual human being.
Yeah, that
that's
seems
the
right.
that's
Yeah,
the progression.
that's the order.
I still think
got
we
it. We
missed
got
a
it.
couple steps between human and bounty hunter, but I think you're right.
I like that Dog the Bounty Hunter is further from being a human
Yeah.
than he is being
Feels bad.
a burial watchdog.
All right, let's wrap this up. all y'all, thank you so much for playing this stupid game. Shout out, props to you three boys who've never played Elden Ring and just kind of looked this up. And honestly, props to you, G, for not knowing most of these bosses either.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, y'all. There's a lot of bosses in
This game is so big. I mean, it
It's
took me
huge.
135 hours to get to credits.
It's boss fights the
ridiculous.
game, right?
Yeah,
It's
it
boss
super
fights the
is.
game. And
Yeah.
there's content that I didn't do either. I'm constantly seeing stuff. Anyway, this was so much fun. Thanks for playing in this stupid headspace. Let's start with Todd. So Todd,
Wait, should I have Radon leave because he's towering behind me?
yeah, you should
Hey,
probably tell him to.
Hey, R, you can bounce.
Skedaddle.
No, you want to stand right here, breathing heavy. Okay, he's gonna stand
Yeah.
right here, breathing.
Yeah,
heavily.
so Radon knows what he did. He immediately, as soon as he got there, he chased around all of the children and just roared, roared, and blood actually spouted out of his body.
Yeah,
it was
did.
It was pretty rough. You definitely won insofar as you absolutely destroyed my barbecue. So you won like that. You won in that way.
Yeah.
So hey, kudos.
we destroyed that barbecue.
Yeah. I will say the people cheered when Radon left. One, because he was a huge bummer, but two, because as soon as he left, the night sky returned and there was a huge star shower. Which
We could
that was
feel
kind of
things
fun.
again.
We
Yeah.
could feel
that's
things
good.
again. Kyle, in a similar fashion, your Gargoyle Bros were
Made a great time for everyone
not
at the barbecue.
as huge
yeah.
a bummer as Radon, but they were the two guys that only played beer pong the whole time and never lost. And again, when we were in college, that was cool, fine, whatever. But I don't need to play beer pong for 4 hours and get told that I'm not very good at beer pong because I know that I'm not very good at beer pong, you know?
But they made
So-
sure you knew it. They and that,
They
that's
did.
what makes
Nice of
a
them to
good
tell you.
barbecue was to
They
be like,
did.
hey, you're bad at this thing you're trying to do to have fun. Yeah.
They did. Matt, Crystalline Ring Barrel was kind of a good time. I mean, he was fun to have around. Nobody really complained about him.
Yeah.
Nobody kind of remembered he was there. However, I have to disqualify him because a couple of the neighbor kids got a hold of what they thought were some frisbees, and they were his crystalline discuses. And there's a lot of bodies.
Well, that's on them, Andrew.
I have to claim a little bit of responsibility there. I mean,
It's like the whole thing. If you don't put a fence around your pool, it's your fault.
yeah.
Well,
So-
then that's on you and not on me. I brought this man to your unfenced pool. How was I to know?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to give this one to Giovanni, and there's a couple reasons. Because one, dog is man's best friend. So what is Dogman dog's man's best friend and dog's best friend?
He's his own best friend, baby.
He's his own best friend. I thought of this really fun scene that happened early on when I was still kind of grilling everything. And there's always a person at the barbecue who's willing to stand next to the grill and tell the grill master how good the meat looks. And I have this, and I just have this great memory of the Erd Tree Burial Watchdog standing next to me and looking over and being like, whoop, because he doesn't have any movements, He's like, and he moved one of his 3 heads over and nodded. And then I was like, ooh, he's like, is this looking a little too rare? And he just kind of vomited some fire on it and just crisp that bad boy right up. And for that moment and that moment alone, honestly, I'm going to give it to Erd Tree Burial Watchdog. So Giovanni,
Thank
you
you.
are our winner today.
That scenario you outlined is actually in my head the same scenario that I pictured when I was putting this dog in competition. And I'm really just glad. I feel like it's a good redemption arc because we've heard a lot of weird things about we've heard a lot of weird slander about this character throughout this. We've heard things like, oh, he's not a dog, or he's really not a dog. And I think I feel vindicated knowing that like we can all agree now that he has won this, that he's a dog. Like it's indisputable. So I appreciate that. I feel like a sense of vindication here today.
Amazing. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Debate This Cast or on our website at debatethiscast.com. Giovanni, one more time, where can people find you?
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Mario Prime. You can read my writing about video games at digitaltrends.com. And you can listen to me talk about video games on the podcast Left Trigger, Right Trigger, wherever you get your podcasts.
Awesome. Thanks so much. A couple quick announcements. So as the time this comes out, we have a couple new things coming out. So for those of you listening that are into the MCU, we have a new show called Avenge This. It's on Wednesdays right now. As of this recording, Moon Knight will be coming out in a couple days. I think we'll probably have an episode or two out. You can see Avenge This, which is the new version of The Plus is Loose, Wednesdays on Twitch, twitch.tv/debatethiscast at 5:30. Let's say 5:30, unless future Matt decides to change this time at all.
Future Matt here. 5:30 was correct.
Insert that. Also coming up is for anyone that's on one of our Patreon supporters, we are taking a hiatus on our D&D show, The Office Drones. We ended on a cliffhanger, and it was really fun. And we are doing a Q&A session. Think the Adventure Zone for those of you McElroy fans out there. We're calling it the Office Drones All Hands Meeting, and it's a Q&A episode.
Oh, I hate it so much.
Yes. And it sucks, and it's great. And if you're listening to this the day it comes out, you have about a week and a half, 2-ish weeks to send us questions. So anybody who listens to our premium feed, go ahead and send us questions that you want asked about the Office Drones.
Question 1, is the whole show just a excuse to elicit the response from Todd that you just elicited?
The answer may surprise you. Until next time, I am Andrew Henderson.
I am Matt, General Scar Surge Rahadani Osmond Cole.
I am Kyle, the fridge in the garage that keeps the Mountain Dew's cold. Harper.
I'm Todd. This podcast has too much Tim Allen. Thomas.
And I'm Giovanni Colantonio. This podcast does not have enough Tim Allen Colantonio.
And balance is restored.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us, and thanks to whoever put in the closing to my notes, because I totally forgot to do that. We're saying thanks for debating with us, and if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.